In this video, I'll be talking about Bakasura, the great devourer from Hindu mythology. And the first, no, this is the second Hindu god we've come across. The first was Agni. In Smite, Bakasura is an assassin, and a very auto attack centric assassin, as opposed to some of the ability centric assassins. So let's go into some of Bakasura's base statistics here. The base health 455, 78 per level. Physical defense 13 plus 2.8 per level. Magical defense 30 plus 0.9. Base movement speed 370. Basic attack damage 36 plus 2.2 per level. So, what makes Bakasura very powerful in this game is his high ability to just kind of be there and be outputting a lot of damage. He doesn't really rely on cooldowns as much as he does auto-attacking the hell out of everything. So that's you can see that with his base attack speed starting at 1. He gets a lot of attack speed here. And you also see through his abilities that he's very auto-attack centric, basic attack centric, I should say. So moving into his passive first here, Insatiable Hunger. Every time Bakasura kills something, whether it be minions, turrets, another player, anything, he'll gain a stack of Insatiable Hunger. For each stack of this ability, he'll gain 10% attack speed and 10% movement speed, up to 3 stacks. And the buff itself lasts for 10 seconds, of course, refreshing every time you kill something else. So, Bakasura is really good after killing 3 things. And keeping his passive up is a must if you're going to play him. So you want to do that. His first ability is called Takedown. Bakasura will jump into the air, landing at a target location. He'll do damage to any enemy caught in it, and reduce their physical protection. So now damage goes from 100 to 340. He'll do a lot of damage with this ability. Plus 60% of his physical power. Every enemy he hits will lose 20 physical protections for 3 seconds. Cooldown 12 seconds. Cost 60 to 80 mana. So this is Bakasura's escape ability. This is Initiate. This is also just for chasing someone down and killing them. This is kind of a very multi-use ability, and you're going to want to use every facet of it. His second ability here is called Eat Minion. Bakasura will eat a minion, he'll heal himself and get a protection buff. Any buff-wielding minions, so that's talking about the big minions in the jungle, they must be at 33% health in order to be eaten. So you can't just eat them off the bat. But you can eat them once you drop them to about 33% of their health or lower. You'll know because it'll actually allow you to eat them. So they heal 70 to 270 health, plus 70% of your physical power. Protections 10 to 30 for 5 seconds. Cooldown 18 to 14 seconds, cost 75 mana. So this does a lot of healing for you, and it scales very well with physical power. And the reason why it will scale so well is because of this ability here, Butcher Blades. Now, a lot of gods in Smite don't get any passive powers from their abilities. It's very rare to find a god who actually gets passive anything from an ability. Bakasura is one of those rare gods. Butcher Blades will give him 10 to 30 physical power passively. Just by leveling up this ability, he gets physical power. And it will also give him, when it's activated, true damage. Now, true damage is another thing you don't really see a whole lot in Smite, and Bakasura is one of very few gods that gets true damage in his kit. He gets 10 to 70, and this is each basic attack. This is a basic attack modifying buff. Every basic attack he uses while Butcher Blades is active will get 70 extra true damage, which is not reduced by projections. It's only reduced by normal damage reduction, so Box's Drunkometer is one of the few things that will reduce it. The buff lasts for 6 seconds after you activate it. It has a 14-second cooldown. That cooldown happens immediately after you use Butcher Blades, so don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. It goes on cooldown as soon as you activate it, not once the 6 seconds wears off. So it effectively has an 8-second cooldown. Mana cost 60 to 80. This is the staple of Bakasura's kit. It's what makes him unique. Butcher Blades is kind of what Bakasura is known for because of the true damage and the passive power. And finally, his ultimate is called Regurgitate. So he doesn't actually do this. That he was remodeled about 2 months ago into what this iteration is, where he has the giant mouth in his chest. He used to be this kind of squat guy with a head covered by a hood, and when he used regurgitate, he'd throw out his head would pop out, but now his chest will spit out stuff. So now, eat minion is tied to how regurgitate works. Eat minion, you can store up to 6 minions. If you have 6 minions, don't fret, you can still eat minions. You just won't get anything stored up for regurgitate after 6. But once you use regurgitate, every minion that you consumed with eat minion will be thrown out and sent into the area where regurgitate happens. Now, the vomit of regurgitate will slow and cripple enemies that are stuck in it, and the minions regurgitate will be attacking them. Now, after using regurgitate, Bakasura's basic attacks become cone attacks, and he is immune to crowd control for a short duration after activating this. So there's a lot to this ability, and I'll go through it. Crowd attack duration 5 seconds, CC immunity 1.5 seconds, the slow is 15 to 35%, 9-second cooldown, mana cost goes from 80 to 120. Bakasura's ultimate is very good in the middle of a fight, especially because of the cone attack buff. Lets you hit multiple players, and it does very well with Butcher Blades. So now, going into some leveling with Bakasura. Bakasura, despite being an assassin, actually one of the better solo laners in this game because of an item known as Heavy Hammer. You can play him in the jungle, but but a lot of people think that you waste a lot of his potential because he's really good at destroying tanky targets with Butcher Blades. So, at level 1 with Bakasura in the solo lane, you want Eat Minion. Because this secures camp, lets you heal yourself, and Butcher Blades doesn't really do a whole lot for you early, you might as well have Eat Minion. At level 2, that's when you take Butcher Blades, it helps you with early game aggression, gives you a little bit of physical power, Eat Minion will heal you for a little bit more health. Overall good. At level 3, you can take Takedown at this point. It's overall really helpful for clearing waves if you need it. It will help you with aggression, will help you with chase if you've gotten some early aggression going. Overall, just offers you more than what Butcher Blades does at level 3. But then at level 4, you definitely want the Butcher Blades. The physical power is always going to be helpful. The true damage is really helpful. You need it. At level 5, you take Regurgitate. This is when your kill potential really comes online because you're going to be able to slow someone, cripple them so they can't run away from you, and just eat them with Butcher Blades. Remember that in the solo lane, you always want to try and keep your passive up as much as possible. So, being attentive to that is a key. So then going to level 6 and level 7, you keep leveling up your Butcher Blades. Level 8, you take... I personally like taking Eat Minion at this point. The extra health is really helpful. At level 9, you finish Butcher Blades, not taking Regurgitate. Regurgitate, the slow isn't really worth the extra 10 mana that it takes to cost. And since it's not offering you a whole lot, you might as well not take it. So level 9, just finish the Butcher Blades. You have 30 physical power now, 70 true damage on your attacks. So that's effectively 100 extra damage on your basic attacks just by having level 5 Butcher Blades. At level 10, take level 3 of Eat Minion. Now here's where something gets a little tricky. Normally I tell you to finish up the ability. In Bakasura's case, I think after getting level 3 of Eat Minion, your heal's good enough. You start working on Takedown, and you level up Takedown at level 12. No. Yeah, at level 11, you take Takedown. You take your second level of Takedown, and then you finish Takedown before finishing Eat Minion. Takedown's damage is really good, and Eat Minion, the 270 isn't really worth not having the damage on Takedown. So finish Takedown, then finish Eat Minion, then level up Regurgitate, and you should be good. Bakasura's kit is really good for being an assassin. It's a very simple kit. Now moving into recommended items, this is what you do if you're a jungler, but like I said, I think he's a much better solo laner than he is a jungler. So instead, what you're going to do is if the enemy team has a magical solo laner that isn't Aphrodite, you go Heavy Hammer. And what Heavy Hammer does is it slows the enemy when you hit them with a basic attack, as well as also giving you 200 health and 18 physical power. So on Bakasura, who's very aggressive with his butcher blades, you can invade really easily and just destroy, or just be a bully in lane against magical solo laners that aren't Aphrodite, because Aphrodite can just kind of counter you. Bakasura's worst possible matchup is Aphrodite, and she is the definitive counter matchup. So if you're thinking of picking Bakasura, you must be really careful that the enemy team doesn't have an Aphrodite, or else you're screwed. So if you're up against an Aphrodite, you just kind of sit there and cry. There's not really a whole lot I can offer you. Anything else, you definitely want a heavy hammer. Then you start working on Ninja Tabai, and then Ikavol on Bakasura is really good because because it gives him the attack speed that he really wants. Um, and with Bakasura and Heavy Hammer, you open up your active slots, so you don't need a Haste and Vitalis, which will weaken your overall damage. But having the Ikavol is really good. After Ikavol, this is where it starts getting more situational. If the solo lane you're up against or is a warrior and they're building physical defense, you get Executioner. If they're not a warrior, or if they're not a war, or if the enemy team has a lot of other tanky targets, like their jungler's a warrior, or they have a tanky support and a mid laner who's built some protections, that's when you go Executioner. Otherwise, you might want to go for more damage with like, I don't know, actually, Executioner is probably a good item in all situations with Bakasura. Um, Then it starts getting a bit more interesting. You can kind of go into a lot more because you've kind of hit Bakasura's core. You can go crits if you can do it, and you can just murder someone. You could go something like you could go a little bit of lifesteal if you're having some issues with dying, but that's probably not gonna help you. Magi's Blessing is a good idea if you're getting a lot of CC hit if you're getting hit by a lot of CC. So just kind of analyze the situation and choose what's best for you. Now, with the Heavy Hammer start, that allows you to not have to buy Hand of the Gods, and then there's no reason to. So then you can get your beads and Sprint. So now Sprint removes the attack speed slow, or the attack movement slow, so you can just continue attacking someone. Um, Moving into Bakasura's skins, you have the standard Bakasura. This is actually the previous model's loading card. You have Butcher. This is his new model, and the one they currently have in the game. Death Machine uses the old model, turns him into a little bit more robotic. He has saw blades as hands. Golden Diamond Legendary. The Feaster Bunny Eastern only skin turns him into a scary looking pink bunny rabbit. This Rage skin is only if you played it in leagues, which are Smite's ranked system, and you achieved a certain rank. And then Ravenous Bakasura gives him a little bit of a different model. It doesn't do a whole lot different. It's a light. It's kind of, they call it a tier 2 skin because it'll give you, it's a gem skin, but it's not exactly a full, complete drastic change with Bakasura. So, that's Bakasura.